What's going on, everybody? So I know a lot of people have been impacted, especially people who work in the government with these recent firings. So I wanted to dedicate this video to talking about some resources for people who were recently fired during what's going on through this Trump administration early on, right? So one thing that and I'm using USA Today, by the way, and I'll link it in the description box so that you can go directly to this article and read it yourself. There's links, all kinds of stuff. So I'm just going to go through it quickly, but hopefully efficiently. So there's unemployment benefits and you should apply for them. Now, this is a big obvious to a lot of people. I know that for anyone, whether government or not, when you lose your job by getting fired, you can definitely do unemployment benefits, right? You can apply for it, but unemployment, anyone who hasn't done it, it is very difficult, very tedious, especially with the shortages now with people getting fired and stuff. It's just hard, especially if you're going through the Department of Labor. But what not everyone knows is that federal workers can apply for unemployment compensation for federal employees, and that is the UCFE, which is administered by the states and the same as regular unemployment insurance benefits, right? The Department of Labor said that UCFE claims should be filed in the state where the federal employee's last official duty station was located, right? So that is a way you can, go about unemployment benefits, right? So that's something. And it's still going to be tedious, but it is a start. It is definitely a start for you, right? So you're going to want to file those claims in the state where, so like, I know a lot of people had to move back home or move away or move over the place because they lost their job. And obviously in this market and this economy, finding another job is not something you can do in a couple of weeks, right? Some people are living check to check. So definitely start with unemployment benefits. That's something they should definitely go for, right? Um, you know, there's the article goes over like finding a part-time job, trying to find another job. That's not something I have to tell you. I'm sure you're looking already. Um, there is something for rent and or mortgage, right? So if you think you won't be able to meet your rent or mortgage obligations, consider state-run rental assistance programs or mortgage forbearance options through your lender. This article suggests District Capital Management, a fee-only financial planning company. So that's something you can do. Again, you're getting fired, and with these layoffs, I'm sure, and this is the optimist in me. I'm sure there are ways in which there are forbearance programs. I've not worked for the government, but I've had situations where I've had to use forbearance programs for different things. So I know they're out there. It's one of those things that don't advertise as much. So it's something to like either call about or you gotta really, really research. Because trust me, they do not tell you about these things. You have to call them and see if they can work with you, whether that's credit cards, payments, or mortgage, or rent, or car notes. Like there's all kinds of different things. So sometimes you just have to call it. Sometimes there's nothing they're willing to help you with, but more times than not, if you talk to them, there's definitely ways and assistance you can do. But it's like even on the website, they just don't tell you. You have to like really call and talk to a representative, tell them your situation, and see if there's some type of forbearance program or payment plan where they can lower your payments or at least take away the interest on the payments. So at least if nothing else, you can pay a lower price through that. So there is that. If you have trouble paying utilities, many companies will work with you, or you can apply for government assistance through your state's Energy Assistance Program office for help with cooling and heating bills, the financial planning firm said. So that's another thing you can do for people, especially with the huge rise. I mean, the astronomical rise in energy bills right now, which is a part of the reason why I try not to like use the lights if I don't need to. I have a good sun right here, but the sun's pretty harsh, so this is pretty good enough, right? So if you have trouble paying your utilities, you can just you definitely need to call. And there's ways to go about that too. Again, I have not personally used some of these, so that's why I'm not speaking like I know it. These are just an article from USA Today that again I'll link in the description box below, in which various people are saying, and this is a journalist who went and got all these resources for y'all. So I just wanted to make sure to relay it because I know a lot of people are really just like panicking and it's a really stressful time. If you can't make your student loan payments or pay your kids' tuition, Contact your loan servicer or child's financial aid office immediately to work out a plan and check your options. If you have a federal student loan, you may be able to lower the monthly amount by switching plans or pausing payments through deferment or forbearance. Just make sure you carefully consider the pros and cons of each, the Department of Education says. Now, from what I've heard, a lot of the options to do that when it comes to financial aid and stuff has been taken off. I'm not sure. I have to double check that. It's something I heard on the radio. Yes, I still listen to the radio. That's something I heard on the radio. So I have to double check that. But that is something that, because there's a huge battle going on with financial aid right now. Will I lose health insurance? That's a big thing. I'm sure. Obviously, a lot of people are worried about as well. That's why a lot of us get jobs. Besides the payment to pay bills, it's also insurance. So the Federal Employees Health Benefits, FEHB, will be terminated on the last day of the pay period you separate when you separate from your job, but you'll have an additional 31-day temporary extension on your coverage at no cost to you, according to the free government employee resource site, federalpay.org, right? So that's something about health insurance. And also, if you are a federal employee currently or an ex-federal employee and you don't mind commenting on this, like, please fact check or things can always change. That's the thing about this administration and the thing about these benefits and bills being passed, every executive orders and bills being passed every other day. Like, this video could be out of date within an hour of me posting it. So if you have recently been let go and there's something has changed that you're watching this video and it's not, something has changed or something, please comment below. Let us all know so that, we can keep this current, we can keep the information going and flowing. That's the best thing about public resources or open resource, I should say, like this kind of video, is that we can constantly update it through comments and stuff like that. So yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. It really is tough. I mean, what are your rights? There's another part article. Once you address your most immediate needs, consider your rights and whether you want to appeal your firing. Now, all employees have an automatic right to appeal, but they said the Office of Personnel Management Resources can help you understand and navigate employment-related appeals, which is good. So, hey, if you're like, yo, I'm trying to fight this, there's a link on this article to the Office of Personnel Management Resources that you can click. And again, I'll link this in the description box below for you. Another thing says, if those aren't clear, U.S. Rep. Gary Connolly, a Democrat from Virginia, suggests workers find and contact their unions. A number of unions have a national consultation relationship with the Office of Personnel Management. So that's another interesting thing he said on his website, which is there's a link there. If you have a qualified disability, Connolly also reminds those workers that federal agencies are required by law to provide reasonable accommodation. So, for those who have disabilities, that's something else to note. And again, there's a link there. And then the article just goes on to talk about your mental health, which I can take over from there. This is a hard time. Being laid off sucks. Being fired sucks. Just dealing with stuff in which you don't know what tomorrow holds for you, when it came out of nowhere and completely out of your control and you've done nothing wrong, it sucks. But it's one of those things where we have to just keep together. And whether that is, and I'm being very serious, I'm not trying to be disingenuous here. Whether that is, obviously, I'll link this, so look at these various sources, check all these things out, make the calls you need to make to your loan providers, health insurance, stuff like that. But also, hey, GoFundMe's, Ko-fi or Coffee page, Patreon, like whatever. There's so many different ways to also try to ask for money. And I know that sounds degrading to a lot of people, and I'm just saying that I know what it's like to be I mean, some of these government jobs, they're not in places that are, it's not cheap. It's like some of these places are in DC, New York City, Los Angeles. Like they're usually in major cities, so you're probably paying a lot of money to live in the area you're at so that you can work at your government job. I know that's not always the case, but for a lot of people that is the case. So sometimes there are different ways to ask for support and money. I'm sure, especially friends, family, some type of social media following, stuff like that. GoFundMe's, where you can raise money for whether it's for rent, whether it's to just raise money so you can move back to your folks' place or move back to someone where you can, because you're going to be evicted or whatever the case may be. There's so many different cases. So I'm just saying there's so many different ways to go about it. But either way, you got to take care of your mental health so that you can, be able to do this. I know this is a daunting task. I know this is a daunting task when it comes to unemployment, the whole process, trying to deal with the unemployment process and and also processing you being fired for no reason, essentially. Like there's so many things. So again, let's share the resources and also share your stories if it makes you feel better in the comment section below. Let people know that they're not alone. Hopefully it make you feel like you're not alone in this as well. We really, I hope that this is, this is a lot of people, man. It's a lot of people. But comment, like, subscribe, and share. Please visit the link if you need to. See y'all in the next one. Peace, man.